welcome here. My name is Jess Hayden. I set up a company 7 years ago now, and I'm gonna talk to Giselle and Noelle today about their businesses. We're delighted to be here, and we want to thank Creative Ireland for helping us put this on in the beautiful space in Malahide Library. And it's today is in celebration of St. Brigid, so we're a little bit late, but we're getting used to the new bank holiday. So yeah, what I wanted to do this morning was kind of get an idea of the businesses that you run, but what helped you get set up, and how, like, what kind of things did you have that helped you make the decision to set up your business. But what I'd love to hear first of all is, when you were 16, what did you think you were going to be doing, and what are you doing now? So I'll go first with mine. When I was 16, I thought I was going to be an actor. And I did actually do that for a while. I studied drama and theatre, and then I decided after about 6 weeks of studying drama and theatre that I hated it. And I dropped out of college, and it was terrible. And I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? And I completely changed my mind, and I studied psychology. And now I am a work psychologist. So I specialise in helping people perform at their best at work. And I set up my business 7 years ago, and we do that. We do business psychology for companies in Ireland and outside of Ireland as well. So I thought I was going to be an actor, and I turned into a psychologist. What about you, Noelle?
Well, at 16, I obviously was at school and loving sport and everything else. And I would have been working part-time with my parents' business, which was a caravan park and a ballroom. So I'd be DJing one night and cooking chips another night. So I was used to probably the own business side of things. But 100% all I wanted to be was a teacher. And I did actually go on to be a teacher. Yeah. So never in a million years did I think I would be creating chocolate snacks made from only 4 ingredients.
So you set your sights on being a teacher. You did that, and then what happened? What was the impetus for you setting up your own business?
Yeah, I suppose setting up Supernature was probably because my daughter, my youngest daughter, when she was 13, developed bad food allergies, and she had to give up all dairy, gluten, and refined sugar. After I started teaching, I had gone back to college at night, and I did marketing. And then in 2012, I actually trained as a health coach. So I had developed an interest in nutrition, and I was making healthier chocolate at home. So then when that happened for Laura, I got more serious into it, and I would make it for her and her friends. And my husband had been working in confectionery for a long time, and he was like, can't believe you can make these out of 4 ingredients. You know, really should do something about this. And to be honest, I hemmed and hawed for about 5 years until my youngest went to college, and then decided, okay, let's just do it. And Supernature became my new baby, I guess.
Brilliant. And so tell us a little bit about where the company is at now. If you don't mind, like, how big are you, and where can we buy your product?
Yeah, so we shipped our first order in May 2019. Then COVID actually came pretty quick afterwards, so that was quite a challenge. But now we're in Tesco, Dunn's, Super Value Centra, your health stores. If you don't see us, please ask. And we also ship to Malta, Bahrain, Finland, a little bit in the Netherlands, a little bit in the UK. Yeah.
Brilliant. Wow. Okay. So, Giselle, what about you? What did you think you were going to be doing when you were 16?
Oh, she just asked me this question. I was like, oh my God, I have to, go back in time. And I started school early. So 16, I was in my last year in school. And after that, I got into college. I was 17. And I have to decide pretty quickly what I want and I need to do. And like yourself, when I was 16, I did a test. Normally, when you're last year, I'm from Brazil. And normally when you're 16 or 17 in your last year, you kind of take a test to see where you're going. And in my test, I remember that I had 2 options. One to be an actress, and the other one to study tourism. And I was like, okay. I tried to be an actress, didn't work. It was nice, but no, not for me. And then I end up going to college, and I did my degree in, I'm a bachelor in tourism. That's, yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I did my after graduation in hotel management. And after that, I was like, not for me after, 6 years going to school. And I decided to become a chef. So I had no idea. My mom was a cook. And when I decided to be a chef, it was a time, we are talking about more than 20 years ago. And to be a chef for a woman was not, something nice, or your parents, desired for you to be a chef. Now it's more popular profession, but back in the day, it was, not a nice environment for a woman to be. And I was like, no, that's what I want to go. And I started working in my first restaurant when I was 21 years old. So, and then I put all my diplomas in the drawer, and, but now, having a company, living here, you have to get everything that you learn in school, because, even though I did tourism, and you do learn about accounts, bookkeeping and etc., how to run a business, although it's not a tourism business, but it is a food business. You kind of, the basic knowledge, it is the same. And now I'm using all that knowledge into my business.
Okay. And what was it that made you set up your business?
I ended up into a coffee shop in the city center called S1. And this coffee shop, the owner, which is from here, from Malahide as well, and he has this idea of having a coffee shop that are more sustainable. And all his ideas, every time that I was talking to him, it kind of, it grew on me, the idea of being more sustainable. I was like, how can I be more sustainable as a chef? And then one day I was making banana bread. As you all know, you need, ripe bananas to do banana bread. And then I asked the supplier, because he was always bringing me green bananas. You cannot make banana bread out of green bananas. So I asked him, can you bring more ripe bananas? The next day he came with a box with approximately 10 kilos of bananas. And he gave it to me and said, look, this is for free. I was like, why this is for free? Because nobody wants. I'm gonna throw this away after I finish my shift. And then that moment, it makes me start thinking. I was like, oh my God, if this small supplier is throwing this amount of banana at the bin, I was like, what else is out there? So I started researching, and then I saw the huge numbers behind the food waste. And I was like, as a chef, I can do something. And at the time, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I want to do something with food waste. What can I do? How can I use the food that is being wasted, that is still good to eat, to do something? And then after 6 months researching, I start my business as a gelato company. The name is Cream of the Crop. Cream of the Crop, it is the ingredients that we are using to turn into something nice and a new product. So that's how everything started.
I'll give you a minute to settle in, but I'm going to warn you about the question I'm going to ask, if that's okay. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And good to have you here. And this is what I just asked Noelle and Giselle, is when you were 16, what did you think you were going to do?
It's not that long ago.
Yes, I was going to say, not fair. It was yesterday.
And when you were 16, what did you think you were going to do? And yeah, what are you doing now? And then tell us about your business. Do you think you're ready to give that one a go? Okay, go for it.
So when I suppose I'll start with what I do now. So my name's Lauren, and when I was 24, I set up Lynotts Jewellery. So it's an online accessories business, but we've recently just moved into retail. So we have a store in Ireland. So it was kind of a happy accident. I had just gotten my dream job in EY, and I was so excited to start. And then all of a sudden, the pandemic hits, March 2020, and I get an email to say your contract's been postponed for a year while we figure out what we're doing with our graduates. So I was left coming out of college, no job, applying for 100 things a day that I didn't want to do. And I come from a family business background. So everyone was like, but you have to just do something for yourself. Like what, do something. And I thought, okay, I just fell into it. And it's so interesting. I just came into a conversation on finding a pain point. I didn't necessarily do that. I kind of researched and went, okay, there's a gap here, but I was more into the process of the business as opposed to, a passion or a drive. I'm going to be honest, I don't have a drive or a love of jewellery. I was like, what's small, could fit in my spare room, has a low return rate. It was more of a strategic decision as opposed to a passion or a problem that needed to be solved. So I hit the ground running. I started in in my bedroom in my parents' house, and I'm just going off on a tangent here. But
Yeah,
then
that's all good.
when I was 6, so yeah, and the business has grown. 2 years later, we're in Arnott, we're online. I think we've over 100,000 recorded customers. We've used social media and digital footprint. And when I was 16, I actually don't know if I don't even know if I thought about a job. I don't know, I think maybe a vet, I don't know really. But yeah, totally clueless. Like I got my ninth choice on my CAO. Fell into a sociology degree. So yeah, it's all been kind of a happy accident. There was no planning up
That's
until
great.
that point.
It's such a great story, though.
Yeah.
For the crisis unity, like you were left with kind of nothing, and so you just created something from nothing. That's brilliant. And just tell us a little bit about like, so the impetus. It was like, what am I going to do? You did your research. What was it that convinced you? Like, okay, it's jewellery. I know you were talking about like, what do I have the space for and stuff. But yeah, when did you know? Okay, I have something here.
Yeah, I suppose it was competitor research. So I was kind of, as we all are, especially during COVID, on your phone constantly on Instagram. And I saw businesses similar to mine in the UK doing really interesting stuff. And I'd kind of followed them for a while and not really thought of it. And it just kind of went from there. And I researched into it. I looked at our market, saw a gap and went for it.
And what was the gap specifically that you saw?
Tarnish resistant waterproof jewellery at an accessible price point. So my market is an instant purchase. It's people like you guys that are young and just impulse buy, have €20 and they'll spend it there and then when they see something pop up on their phone. So
Brilliant.
that was it, but it had to be quality because you're young and you're impulse buying, but you also don't have money to replace that item. So it's about the quality as well as the accessibility.
Yeah. So tarnish resistant, waterproof. Those are pain points though as well, right? Like
Exactly,
the existing stuff that's there is, we're not enjoying it because it's leaving a mark, or it's like it's not doing well if we wash our hands and stuff. Brilliant. Okay, that's great. So the next kind of thing I wanted to talk about is like, we all set up our businesses at different points in our lives. I was kind of in my career about 15 years maybe when I set up my business. It was something I kind of always thought I might do at some point in the future. And the thing that helped me to do it was I was able to take the risk at the time. I was in a position where I had a little bit of savings, not a huge amount of savings. I had just moved back to Ireland from Berlin. And I thought, I'm going to give this a go. And I gave myself 6 months. And I thought, if I can't make it work in 6 months, I will just go and try and find a job again. So I gave myself 6 months. And that was what I needed. That was the little push to see. I had a kind of, I suppose, a safety net for about 6 months to do that. And that's kind of what helped me. But I'm interested to know, well, I'll come to you first this time, Giselle. What allowed you to go for it, like to really decide, okay, I'm not going to do chefing anymore. I'm going to go full time into my business.
To be fair, was the age. It was like, I'm 40. It's now or never. And when I decide to go for it, when I had the bananas delivered to me was April 2019, and it took me months to develop the idea, to think what I'm going to do. I went to Amsterdam and I saw a restaurant that was using surplus as a main ingredient for their dishes. And I was like, let me see, how is the business model? And this was like 8 months after like I had the idea. So it doesn't happen like overnight. You had the idea, okay, that's what I'm going to do. This is ice cream. Okay, that's the container. No, it takes months and months of research for you to see what's the market look like. And when I came back from Amsterdam, it was end of the year, and I decided to do ice cream. I was talking to friends and family. They're like, Derek, are you crazy doing ice cream business in Ireland? It's not a hot country, And you do realize that Irish people do consume a lot of ice cream, more than Brazilians, believe me or not. You're in the top of the list. And although I was a chef, I had the skills to do the ice cream. I didn't know nothing about the ice cream market or Irish, what they like. And like at first, I was creating crazy flavors out of a surplus. And I was like, are people going to think I'm crazy? I did like some crazy flavors like blue cheese with pear, tomato with parmesan, beetroot with rhubarb. I did, the normal Kinder Bueno, okay, guys. But I was doing, things a little bit crazy out of everything that I was collecting. And I was like, okay, let me, see. But, I think the age, like, just going back to your question, I think the age was like, for me, it was like, it's now or never, 40 years old. I have to do something.
Brilliant. And what about you? What kind of helped you decide to go for it with Supernature?
Yeah, it was probably a couple of things coming together at a certain time. My husband and I, we'd had a business, though in the end I was looking after the girls full time and he worked full time in the business, and we sold part of that in 2017. So we had some money.
Yeah.
And then Laura went to college. Both my girls were then studying at 2018. I kind of felt I'm ready to get back in and do a project. I'd been making these at home for Laura. I was finding it really hard to find snacks. Laura, she's going to tell you they do taste good. It was her first taste yesterday. And that was important to me, that you didn't feel you were missing out. So we felt we had created recipes that, they did taste good. They were only made from 4 ingredients, and it was one of those stupid, you're sitting down. I've learned so much. This is not the way to start a business. It was literally, we were having this conversation. We'd been talking about it for 5 years, trying recipes, going to shows, doing different things. Yeah. And then we just thought, okay, are we going to do this or not? Let's do it. So that's not the way to start a business. Okay. You started with the research, with talking to the consumer, with getting out and all those things. That's the way to do it. But anyway, we jumped in and here we are. And it's definitely a lot more work and a lot more money than you initially think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've learned a lot, but I feel like I've been back in college nearly the last few years. You've learned so much that I partly wish I'd known at the beginning.
Yeah.
But anyway, here we are.
Brilliant. And what about you? What do you think helped you to kind of get going with your business?
I don't think I felt like I had another option.
Right.
So it was kind of like do it or think, and I just threw myself into it.
Yeah.
And I feel it was just timing. Like COVID was the perfect time. Like everyone's at home. You had nothing else to focus on.
Yeah.
So it was just a really good mix of timing, I suppose, being so driven and so invested in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was just an all factor of it. And also having not got the job, so just a couple of things lined up at the same time.
Cool. I don't think they have an option either. I think you have to start a business, right, to figure out how to do it.
I know.
So what's interesting, I think, for you is like, who is your market? Is it just people in the school? Is it friends and family outside school? Is it more than that? Like, who is it that you want to go after? What kind of research can you do to figure out where is there a niche here for me to go and solve a problem for somebody? Who's going to be my customer? How much are they maybe going to pay for something? And what can I do? I think your example is great, is like with the constraints that you have a short time window, I imagine. What resources you have, I don't know. I'd say
it's a really good exercise. So funny, I thought I had to have a presentation for this, so I was like putting together a presentation. And I found slides that I'd done before, and I did this whole a picture of a girl like 1735, and I was like, shops in Zara, drives a Fiat 500, is on 30k a year, went to UCD, and like I physically did all the characteristics of a person that I know would buy my product. And it's a nice exercise to go, who is like immersive, like who is your customer? What, like in every element of their life, not just your product or your specific thing. What do they do? How do they act? How do they react? It's really a good exercise.
Yeah. And also what's their watering hole? Where do they go to spend money, and what are they looking for to do? These are all things that might give you a little spark for an idea. So the kind of the last few bits I wanted to kind of touch on are maybe advice. So for budding entrepreneurs, I know that when I think back to when I set up my business, the one thing I'm really happy that I did was every chance I got, having dropped out of university once after 6 weeks, I took every opportunity to further my education and training that came my way. jumped at every opportunity, and I gathered up loads of experience through jobs, through training, through education. And it's really, really stood to me. So I'm really glad that I did that, that I took those opportunities when I could. Um, and the advice I suppose I gave to myself at 16, when I was thinking, God, I'm going to be an actor and that's it. That's the only thing I want to do. And I didn't have any other ideas in my head, was maybe don't put all your eggs in one basket. That was kind of, I thought, like, when that didn't work out for me, it was really, really hard, because I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do now. Felt like the rug was kind of pulled out from under me. So I suppose the advice I give to myself is, like, don't worry if things change. Things are going to change anyway. The world is changing. Jump at as many opportunities as you can to learn stuff and get experience. And then if stuff does change, you'll have another plan in your pocket. So that's the advice I would give to myself if I was 16. What about you? What advice would you give to yourself?
If I was 16, or if I
Well, it's maybe both. Like, you start at the 16 and then,
I think it's it kind of, it's a mix. It's you're not your business or your idea. You know, you have to have that separate, because I think my biggest learning in all of this was, you know, good sales day, high as a kite, low sales day, in the bed. So
Yeah.
there's, you know, you have to have that balance of going, yes, it's a great idea thing, but you can't become, you know, synonymous with your business. You have to have that kind of level of separation and treat it as a job. Show up, do your job, and go home. And then resilience, and you can practice this in every aspect of your life. Like, bad things are going to happen. It's as you said, it's a roller coaster. There's more downs than ups, but you have to take the good with the bad, and it's how you react to things. It's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to what happens to you, which is just so important. I wish I knew that when I was even 16 or starting out.
Yeah, it's great advice. Like, that's the thing. I think we've all touched on it a little bit, but it is unpredictable. You kind of just don't know what people are going to want to spend money on. You can do loads of research and even still get it wrong. I mean, it sounds like you got it right, but you know, we've made a few mistakes in our business, and it is difficult, like, when you get it wrong. So I love that. Like, it's how you react, not who you are. Is that what you said? It's great.
Exactly, yeah.
Brilliant. What about Noelle? What advice would you have for your younger self, or for these budding entrepreneurs?
Well, I think it's, you know, don't be afraid. I think is important. I think advice I suppose I always give to my kids as well is, don't ever not do something because you're afraid. You know, like, go for it. What's the worst that can happen, really? I think the way Lauren started a business is, the smallest possible economically viable unit is the way to go if you can do it. No overhead, as much as you can do yourself, with maintaining your work-life balance. And it is a great opportunity to learn lots of tools that will carry you through your whole life. I feel I've had about probably 7 careers at this point, so this is going to be one, and you'll do lots of different things. And also, for me, I think it's important not to measure success by the amount of money you make. Measure success by, who did you meet? I mean, we've often gone to a trade show and you think, oh my God, I spent so much money on this trade show, and what did I get? But actually, I met that person. And it's often funny because you meet somebody that's nothing to do with why you went, but they'll impact your life or your business later on. So I think success is about, what have you learned? Who have you met? What will this give you as a life experience? Because really, that's what life is. It's just one experience after another, and enjoy them as much as you can. They are the full range, so there'll be ups and downs, but yeah, look, you're young, you're starting out, there's so much ahead. I'm excited for you all, you know. It's amazing to be having this experience at 16, you know, to learn. And also, I would say, your local library, your local Leo, the local enterprise boards are great places to get information, to do research, to do courses about finance, online selling, social media. And they're all one-day workshops. They charge hardly anything for them, so lots of them are free. And they're a really great resource. So there's an awful lot around for people starting their own business now that's at your fingertips. So I'd say access all of that.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. What about yourself? Do you have any advice?
I think just enjoy the journey. I think, you know, when you're preparing a party, you enjoy the before much more than the real party. I think that's what happened. And yesterday, also in the talk that we had, I learned in the recent year to be grateful by the small things, the be grateful for the small things that happen in your daily life, in your business or with your family. Be grateful because it's not the big thing, we always wait, for the big moment, for the big idea, or, for something incredible to happen. And then we forget those small things that happen in our daily lives that really impact us and make us feel good. So I think it's just enjoy the small things, be grateful for the small things that happen, and enjoy the ride. Because the goal, everybody say, when you're an entrepreneur, your goal is to be rich. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but I'm trying to enjoy my daily life. The good news, I just got a good news before I came here, that like 20 minutes before I arrived, and I was like, yeah, inside the car, yes, yes, yes. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
We all want to know with them.
Oh no, it's a secret. I was like inside my car. Yes, yes. No, do the dance that everybody say that a small business do the dance. Yes, we actually do the dance when you get a big order, when you get a good news. So I try to keep those moments and remember, because maybe tomorrow I will have a bad news, but I was like, okay, remember yesterday that you have a good news. Hold into to the good news.
Yeah.
Forget the bad days. The bad days will happen. You will failure. Everybody, it's at 80% will be, disaster.
Yeah.
But the 20%, celebrate the 20%,
Yeah.
and it will be awesome. So
Okay, so thank you so much for coming here today and telling us about your business. And thank you, everybody, for your great questions.